All right, this is the Desert Bears podcast. Tonight, we are minus Davey. Unfortunately, he has a mysterious illness. I want to blame fish SARS, but I don't know for sure.
Logical.
To my right, we've got Mark and our special guest. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Brandon.
Brandon Edwards.
Close enough.
Oh, no way.
There we go.
That was good.
So I was like 5 minutes late on that, but
That's
there you
okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
But
So that's our first sound effect.
The impact is still felt.
All right, well, we are going to start with Brandon's topic today. So why don't you go ahead and introduce it, and we'll take
Gladly. I decided that I wanted to talk about bucket lists. And thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
go. Oh, it's still going. Sorry.
This is going to be kind of fun to get used to having sound effects.
Anyway, bucket list. If you've probably heard the term, you may not be too familiar with it. It actually comes from the term kicking the bucket, which of course means dying. So a bucket list basically is a list of things.
What movie is? I think it's a mad world where somebody dies and like right as they die, they actually kick a bucket.
Oh, I don't remember it. We actually just watched that the other day too. And
It's the guy that they find at the beginning of the movie that died in the car crash. I think he dies and then he like flails his leg and he kicks a bucket.
I don't remember. I don't remember, but I wouldn't doubt it.
All right.
That movie was pretty ridiculous. But anyway, so the bucket list is just a list of things that you want to do before you kick the bucket or before you die. And so, a lot of people will put things like skydiving or like hiking up Mount Everest or something like that.
I'm glad to say neither of those are on my list.
Good, because I was just going to say that I think they should be, well, I mean, I guess it's up to you, but...
Banned from... You cannot have that on your bucket list.
Skydiving, lame. You're out.
Who made you president of bucket lists? But mine, I've realized, is more, they're more practical things. Things that you can just kind of work on slowly. Some of them are things that you work on slowly. Some of them are things that are just like, boom, you're done.
These cookies totally taste like marshmallows.
They're a cake cookies. My wife made them. They're from cake batter. So
they're special.
yeah.
Can I have one?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's actually on my bucket list. I can't. Yeah.
Let me pass you a cookie.
Okay, so
Please eat directly in the microphone. That would.
Here.
I'd love to hear that. Thank you.
Oh yeah, that is good.
Oh, you know what? I gotta say, occasionally I run audio for things, and listening to people eat and swallow and chew food is like when it's amplified in your ear. It is the worst sound ever. Oh.
No, when we're doing a big convention, I mean, because I do the same thing, and when people are wearing those headset mics, they pick up everything, and that's the point. We want to pick up everything. But in between things, like if we don't turn them down all the way, and you hear like, just like turn it down. Anyway,
so funny.
So the bucket list, I guess we'll just start off. I will read through mine. You guys can stop me. If anything.
I have a few things to say.
Sure.
When you told me your topic was this, I was disappointed. I was in fact fist shaking at you because this was one of the topics I was thinking about and wanted to do as well. The bucket list is the idea of it is actually really important to me. I've thought about it a ton, and I've never like formally gone down and written my list and stuff like that. I actually have recently started a dedicated blog called The Lightning List.
Really?
No, it's just...
Have I seen this blog? I don't think I've seen this blog.
It's not The Lightning List. It's just lightninglist.blogspot.com.
I'm aware of most of your blogs, but I didn't know about this one.
I have more blogs than anyone should have. But
That's true.
So, and I've only started it. It's just got like a few entries in it so far, but I'm going to try to actually get a formalized blog and start putting list and start putting it together. But so the things that are on my list are actually kind of important to me, and the bucket list idea is sort of central to what I want my life to be like as soon as I can make it so.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Mark, comments before we
Yeah,
get into the list?
when you said that you had a list of 30 or 40, I I wondered what I was doing with my life. Maybe I don't know if I'm satisfied or if I'm not dreaming enough. But
You've already done
I've
everything.
I've got like 2 things I think on my list. So I imagine as you read yours, I'll go, okay, yeah, I'll chime in. I'll say yes, that is something I want to do. So yeah,
Yeah, and it depends on the person. Like some of mine seem very basic. I don't know. I've seen some people that they'll list off like, I want to see China, I want to see this, I want to go here. They list off like 50 different countries.
yeah.
Whereas on mine, I'll just say something like, I want to travel a lot. And so
Now, do we need to preface this? I have not seen the movie with Jack Nicholas and Nicholson or Nicholas. I never get that.
Nicholson,
Yeah.
Okay.
and
Morgan Freeman.
Honestly, the movie was okay.
I liked it a lot, but
I just thought it was
gimmicky.
a little gimmicky. I guess that's kind of a good way to describe it. But
Did you feel good at the end of it?
It's Jack and Morgan, great acting. It was enjoyable to watch, but I don't know. I think it was just because I was expecting it to be a lot more memorable, because it's like, oh wow, 2 guys dying and going out and doing all the things they've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
There was also a Nikola Tesla reference in the
that's
beginning of
true.
the movie, so
That is
that does give it some measure of merit.
Okay.
Give it 1 extra star for
no,
that.
yeah, I will raise my rating 1 point
Thank you.
for that. Aren't they making a Tesla movie?
Really?
I thought I heard about that. Christian Bale.
What?
Really?
Absolutely.
I would
Wow,
like that because
seriously.
I know nothing about Nikola Tesla.
Later in the podcast, I'm actually going to talk a lot about movie news, and it's funny that I don't know that.
Look it up. It's neat. I did a PowerPoint speech on Tesla once.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I loved it. I think the rest of the class thought I was retarded, but because everybody else is doing speeches on like, this is what Zumba dancing is, and like, I'm like, well, doing mine on Tesla.
Once upon a time, there was a man.
It was on my bucket list, so it wasn't really, but that was a joke.
Yeah, I was wondering where you into the bucket list.
Anyway,
Cue sound effect.
Oh,
Wah,
oh,
wah.
hold on. Oh,
we can wait. Aww. Crickets. Dang it.
All right,
I've been
let's go.
cricketed. Okay. Okay, so let's get into this. Let's start off with a bang. Number
I don't
one.
have that sound effect.
Number 1 on my bucket list. Learn the following languages.
Ooh.
Spanish, French, German, Italian, Russian, Mandarin, Swedish.
In that order?
Not necessarily, but, and then in parentheses I have in the bottom here, be pretty fluent in at least 3 of them. Conversational in others, pretty fluent in at least 3. I understand that's a very large undertaking.
But it's doable,
Man.
right? I mean, it's been done before.
That's-
Absolutely.
That's
it's
a
been done.
really cool thing. I think about, have you ever met somebody who just could speak 5 languages fluently?
And hated them? Yes.
It's such a,
Absolutely.
it's such an impressive feat.
Yeah, definitely.
No, I work with the guy. I was just I did a show with him yesterday. He speaks Russian, he speaks Lithuanian, he speaks Polish, and he speaks English. And it just blew my mind because everybody that we work with thinks he is a complete retard. Just because I think it's just the language barrier, but just talking to him and like the way that he learned these languages he just picked them up by like being in those countries and just being around those people.
Yeah.
I just thought it was amazing. I don't know.
Interesting.
It was inspiring.
Yeah, language is one of those things that you just have to immerse yourself in. You could learn phrases and how, I can ask people where the bathroom is in Spanish, but
Or many, many swear words.
yeah, swear words are always the first thing you learn.
Yeah,
So
those
like,
are easy.
what's your plan on like not only learning it but then maintaining it?
Glad you asked. I kind of marked some of these items that I wanted to just talk about a little bit more and explain a little bit more. This was one of them. Right now, I'm working on Spanish. I'm using a somewhat legal copy of Rosetta Stone that I acquired.
All right.
Crickets.
Clap that one.
Applause, also good. And besides that, I'm listening to music in Spanish. I'm
Okay.
studying the cultures and things like that. Like, not complete immersion by any means, but it's more than just like listening to somebody say like, this means this in Spanish. Now you say it. 'Cause, like,
This is You've Got a Friend in Me in Spanish. I skipped
nice.
this. It's from Toy Story 3.
Cuando salgan a volar, hay un amigo en mí.
So you
This has become a family favorite with Toy Story 3.
No, that's good. I understood half of what he said.
Well, I understand it because I understood the English version 15 years ago.
Yes, that's true. And so that's kind of how I'm going about this, and that's what I want to do with each of these languages. And yes, like I said, it's very big goal, and this is definitely a lifelong thing. It's not like something where and it's like, okay, in a couple of years I'm going to know these languages. No, this is like when I'm 60, I'm still going to be, studying one of these languages. And another one on my list is actually like doing some time in another country, whether it be like a service.
doing some hard time.
That's
some
what
hard time.
No,
whether it
kill
be
some
like
Polish people. And
exactly. But maybe like a service expedition or something like that, and just immersing myself in that way. So
Yeah, that's a super cool idea.
so that's one.
I think, like Mark said, what it takes more than anything is that iron hard determination to do it and keep doing it. I think that's the only way is just like that brute force of will to make yourself do it. That's the only way to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And it just reminded me of something that Obama, love him or hate him, said a while back. And I absolutely agreed with this. He was talking about how you go to any other country in the world and they'll speak their native language. Most of them will speak at least a little bit of English and probably another language or two.
yeah,
And that's just kind of how it is in the rest of the world, because that's how people are raised. And then he says, you come to America, any foreigner comes to America, and it's like, you better know English, because hardly anybody in America is
Yeah.
bothered to learn another language.
Yeah.
And he just said, it's embarrassing. Like, it
yeah.
really
I guess
is.
that
So-
could be viewed, to give you the counterpoint. It's like I haven't
Counterpoint?
I don't need Spanish. My dad, my brother, all my friends speak Spanish, except for you, Brandon. I think all of our other friends speak Spanish, and
that's another reason why I wanted to learn.
and I don't know. I think I'm doing okay. And I don't have an urge to. I don't have a reason to even. So I don't know. I mean, I understand learning a language for the interest of it, and then you can communicate with those people. But I guess I don't communicate with another language enough that it would be worth anything to me.
See, for me, I'm studying Japanese not so much for the interest in talking to other people, but just so that I can like spout off some samurai whenever I want to. Just
Pick up
I,
chicks.
Just because I love the sound of it. Like Surudoi katana de kubi wo kiro. I mean,
Gotta admit, that's pretty awesome.
like I'm never
Well,
gonna
I don't
say
know
that to
what's
somebody,
cooler,
but
like
I love.
just the actual words or your face when you were saying that.
What does that mean, by the way?
It means I will cut off your head with this sharp sword.
A very useful phrase.
Yeah.
when courting the ladies, especially.
All right. Anyway,
Yeah.
I think we've exhausted languages.
Oh yeah.
A couple things here. Some of these I don't think we need to talk about as much. Jog or bike the Great Wall of China.
Really?
Maybe not the whole thing. I hear it's
I hope
pretty
travel
long.
to China somewhere on your list. Otherwise
Well,
you're-
yeah. I think that goes without saying.
All right.
Learn the piano. Learn the cello. See the Northern Lights. Garrett,
Done that.
you've done that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you lived in Canada.
And it's I saw where I was in kind of central Alberta, and so I didn't see it as an intense as had I gone more north. But what I saw was beautiful. I remember it was a late winter day, and we were out night, whatever. It was night. It was winter. It was cold, and I was outside, and there was this beautiful green mist thing in the sky.
Get
funny.
your story straight.
Yeah, you said day, and I was just following you, like, yeah,
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
yeah.
I hear they're great during the day.
Oh yeah, the aurora, totally.
Speaking of ultimate solar flares happening these
That's
days.
also stuff I'm going to talk about.
I was going to say, I figured you might want to talk about that later, but now would be a great time to see that, I think.
No,
definitely in the next couple of weeks.
Teach me about this. What is this? I don't know. I don't know what solar flares are.
Garrett, please.
Well, what they are is basically.
What does science say they are? And what are they really? Are the two things I want to know.
Oh man, when we start talking about my topic, there's going to be a lot of that. Two sides to this story, but yeah, they're basically just huge outbursts, very powerful, energetic outbursts from the sun, and they're usually I don't know how to explain, like an arc.
Yeah.
You know, so they look like giant loops, just kind of
Cardioid
out.
pattern.
So what they are, they're sort of like a magnetically carved, you know, burst, and that sends tons of solar wind energy, basically, and it just comes hurtling out. And when that comes towards the Earth, it interacts with the magnetic field, and the North and South pole, magnetic pole, where it kind of originates in the Earth, there's holes, and so that energy kind of comes down those tubes and
kind of funnels into the poles,
and those circles are where the aurora happen.
Okay.
So what you're seeing is that that energy kind of being blocked mostly by the magnetic field, but then it kind of comes down the chutes and ionizes the gases and stuff in the.
And it's also supposed to mess up our power grids pretty bad.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and along with it, I remember my astronomy class a couple semesters ago talking about how the solar flares are an incredible amount of energy from the solar winds and things like that. And so like, you know, it'd be interesting if we could harness that power somehow. It's obviously not been done at all yet, but do you know of any research in that?
I'm sure that Tesla would have figured it out if they would have given him the time of day.
Figured out.
Yeah.
He was going to build a ring around the Earth.
Well, I don't think he ever planned to build that one. That was just
Solar
one of his
windmill.
ideas. Yeah, like he was gonna. Yeah, a ring world.
It was for travel.
Yeah,
it's really interesting. Anyway, a couple more. Get published, something significant.
Now that
book or something like that.
With that, how publishing is so vague nowadays, because you know you can make a blog, you could up to, you know, have a New York Times bestseller. So do you have a
that's kind of why I put parenthetically significant. Like, if it's, I guess it depends on your definition of significant. To me, it would be probably the amount of readership that it gets. Like, I mean, I could get published in a school journal or something, and maybe 1,000 people would read it, and that would be kind of on the lower end. But you know, a book, or like you're saying, if it's some sort of blog and turns into something big, I mean, sure. I mean, you could consider that something significant.
So you're thinking a few thousand, maybe tens of thousands of views.
Something like that. I guess something that people actually care about.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah.
You guys will like this one. High five a monkey.
Yes.
Oh,
I know
I'm on board.
It sounds ridiculous, but honestly, think about it. How cool would that be?
The answer is not cool at all. For the record, how did this get on your list? By the way, like I'm surprised.
I'm not sure. I think I was thinking about a lot of people say like, oh, I want to swim with the dolphins.
Yeah.
I want to see a whale.
Okay.
What could be cooler than any of that stuff? High five a monkey.
You know what? I have a whale
in the
related
wild,
one.
by the way.
What is it?
Oh, in the wild. Yeah, that changes a lot. So it's not just
not
like go down to Hogle
That'd
Zoo.
be ridiculous.
Oh, okay,
I'm like in Africa. Are there monkeys in Africa?
Sure, yeah.
Or
I believe you.
there's gotta be.
Wherever, and just walking around, see a monkey, and
That's
put
where the
my hand
monkeys
up and
came
see
from.
what happens, basically. So,
Well, you know how maybe you don't know, I don't know, but sometimes whales have this peculiar behavior where, and I think it's called breaching. Like instead of where they just kind of come up and like flip their tail and go back down or whatever, they'll, in order to get a look at like boats and you know things like that, they'll just stick their nose straight out of the water, and then you know their giant eye will just like stare at you for a second before it submerges again.
Huh.
awesome.
And it's kind of like this rare, amazing event. I think it's called breaching. I don't know for sure, but that would be so cool.
I know breaching is a pregnancy delivery term, so
Not what I'm going for, but
breaching means a lot of things. Actually,
I would love to stare a whale down, you know, like eye to eye, like the eye is bigger than my head, probably. Just like, dude.
He sinks back down, and Garrett's like, I win.
You know,
Sucker.
Plus
you
one
know I
Garrett.
would say that. Like, boom.
Okay, yeah, because a few weeks ago we were standing on the side of the road, and that makes us sound homeless, but we were standing on the side of the road, and a car drove by it, and Garrett just stared at it the whole way down the street.
Oh,
and then he
no.
said,
Yeah.
I win. I
Absolutely.
apparently
No,
this is the thing that he
is-
does.
Yeah, I know all about this.
Yeah, me and Brandon were roommates for quite a while.
Yeah, yeah. There's okay.
There's a history there, huh?
Let me finish this off real quick and give you guys a turn. Let's see. Learn useful ballroom dance, and by that I mean like if I go to a classy event with my wife,
Yes.
I want to be able to like hold my own on the floor. I don't want to be like so you think you can dance kind of
Yeah.
that cheesy stuff, but just like really classy, decent stuff. Because right now I can't do a thing and I look like a fool.
Yeah, like anytime I watch like Pride and Prejudice or something from that era, where like everyone's on the dance floor, they all know the dance, they all know the
Exactly,
moves,
and that's what I'm talking about. Like I just think those scenes are so cool because it's like I don't know. So that's one. Do a triathlon, self-explanatory. Visit all 50 states.
Wah, wah.
Sound effect? I would prefer the applause. Garrett might want the
There a
sad
lot of people are
trombone.
into that, and Jen Ford said something about wanting to do that too. I don't see the allure of it.
I just
just be
think
able
it's
to say
interesting
it.
because of I think it's more of a history aspect, just especially like the South. I would love to visit the South and just see the old buildings, see the old sites where like the Civil War happened,
Okay.
and things like
Because
that.
we live in a new state. I mean, we're only 200 years old or something like that.
no, not even that. Just over 100 really.
And so the fact that like when I went over to Scotland and England, that was the thing I couldn't get. I just couldn't get over how amazing, how old the place was. I mean, where we live technically is old, but we only had civilization. Okay, now I'm getting all the, you know what I mean. We've only been here.
You lost
for,
me.
Yeah, we've only been here for 100, 200 years maybe.
Civilization is so new.
Our modern society or whatever. And so I think it's for what you're saying. Utah is a new state. We were number 46. Is what number we were? 42?
So I mean,
40s, I think.
Yeah. So
'Cause, I mean, it was late. It was like what 1895, I think.
so why do you want to go to like Ohio or Arkansas or something like?
I honestly don't know. No, I think that there is something in every state that can be interesting. I mean, South Dakota, at least they have Mount Rushmore,
Yeah.
Which I hear is thrilling.
I've heard it's really small. My family went there a couple summers ago, and they were surprised how small Mount Rushmore is.
Well, I still want to see it.
Okay. I'm sorry. I don't need to just take a dump on your dreams.
It's fine. It's fine.
I don't want to be that kind of a guy, but
Two more. Garrett, you'll like this one. Learn to surf, which is odd because I'm not a very sporty person, but for some reason, like surfing just seems cool to me. Thank you. And then last one.
Inappropriate.
Go to space.
Really?
Yes. Let me explain. I know it sounds pretty far-fetched right now, but I mean,
the Virgin Galactic,
isn't it supposed to be this year that they do those first flights? And yes, it's about $200,000 to get a seat on that. But I mean, can you imagine maybe 20 or 30 years, maybe that same kind of flight or that same technology might only cost like a couple grand.
Yeah.
Well, and again, going into my next topic is the space elevator. Perhaps you might be interested in that.
Okay.
Well, we'll just wait on that one. But
The suspense is killing me.
yeah.
But anyway, so I think, when I'm 50 years old and that technology has, become a little more commonplace and doesn't cost that much, like, why not take a little trip to space one day?
So this $200,000 gets you a seat on the Virgin Galactic, but I don't know.
That's not much. It's only $200,000.
$200,000 isn't that much.
Well, I mean, in the grand scheme of things,
I mean, I've got like $20,000 in my pocket
no,
right now.
I agree with you, Mark. Actually, that like when you think about what you're actually doing.
yeah.
But remember this, and I was reading about this recently. It's not like a real kind of like space mission. You take off, you kind of go, what is it, like the suborbit or something? It's kind of just past the threshold that they consider outer space.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
You're there for maybe
These are the
6 to 10
spheres.
minutes, and then you come back.
Okay,
Oh.
that's what I wanted to know was
Yeah.
what exactly the trip was like. So.
And again, I'm sure 20, 30 years that will improve. It's not just going to be like 6
Yeah.
minutes for 200 grand, but
Yeah.
still,
So,
just to experience weightlessness.
are you
like,
gonna
that would
be like
cool.
Stephen Hawking? You're like,
Those guys who are like awkwardly twirling you around. Like that was the most awkward
thanks
video
for giving
I've
us
ever
that 200
seen.
grand. Now give me your foot.
See, I'd be fine with just the free fall that they do. Like they filmed Apollo 13. And, you
No,
know,
yeah, that'd be
that's
cool.
all I would want to do.
That'd
Just
be
that
cool.
free fall stuff. And well, even up in Ogden, they've got the I forgot what it's called now, but it's the
The vomit rocket.
no, it's like the fake skydiving thing where it's basically just the huge fan on the floor.
Oh,
right,
And,
yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's called iFly. I
Yeah,
think is
yeah.
what it's called. And so you're basically just sitting there, kind of floating and doing flips or whatever.
Sure.
That's enough for me for weightlessness.
Yeah, that would be cool.
So
Okay.
Um,
Well,
I was gonna
that is
say,
Did
a
you-
good
did you-
part of my list. So
and I'll jump in because mine is short, and then you can finish off your Garrett. Did you have some stuff to say?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
I
okay.
got tons to say actually still. And about the space thing, even if it was like $5, I don't think I would go to space. Well, maybe that trip because it's
for
just
$5,
Like, hear me out. I have a reason.
This box of tricks looks
it costs
amazing.
twice that much to go to an IMAX movie.
Okay, if it was just kind of like that, if it was like, go to the space station and dock and, chill there for a little while, I wouldn't do it. And the reason is I think I have a phobia of space. And
It is pretty big.
like, well, and this is my reasoning, of course, phobias are mostly irrational, but I think, in many, many situations, skydiving or, if you're deep underwater and something bad happens, it's really, really
Yeah,
dangerous,
yeah.
but there's always a chance that you'll make it. There's always like, I'll hold my breath or I'll, bounce off a tree or something, and so there's always that like hope of making it through.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
space, if anything happens, you're just screwed.
You can't like hold your breath against the vacuum of space.
I know.
Yeah.
It's like you're dead and it's going to be a horrible death.
Oh yeah,
like-
there's the part in a few different movies, but I'm thinking of 2001: A Space Odyssey, where I can't remember the crew member just floats off into space, and he can't do anything.
Yeah.
You can't swim your
Yeah,
way
to
back
me,
to the
it's-
ship. You just keep on going.
And yeah, so more than just the dangers of it, I just don't like the idea of being separated from my planet. I hate the idea of like, oh, there's the Earth.
Is this why you still live with your parents? I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, so I have a phobia of space. I think I'm
Okay.
not gonna go there.
That's fine.
No,
I'll take
completely
my wife.
understand. Yeah.
You don't have to come.
But Brandon, side note: if you write a blog while you're in space, you will get thousands of readers. So there
That'd be cool. That'd be cool. A health blog from space.
Here's how to keep your
Shameless plug.
Keep your figure in 0G.
Here are some great space recipes.
You don't want to turn into the Wall-E people.
Anyway,
Oh, man, awesome.
So for me, my list is very small, and I think this is pretty much kind of what we talked about last time about minimized living, and that's kind of what I want. I've told Brandon this before that my only bucket list item is to build my dream home, my nice modest dream home, and live in it for a year, maybe 2 years, and I'd be happy. That's all I really want. Just
After that, you can go back to apartments and.
No, I think I want to keep living there.
Okay.
But like that's just the American dream of like I own something. This is mine. I've done it
For 1 year.
I just need to know that I've done it. Then I can go into financial ruins. That's all I need.
Okay.
Alright.
Describe your dream home then.
My dream home is
I'm interested.
It's very small. A lot of windows. It's evolved. It's basically the bedrooms. We only have 2 kids. We're only planning on having 2 kids, and the bedrooms are small. But I want one large room where all my friends, you guys can come over and we can play this gigantic game of Uno. We can have a huge dinner. We can just talk. We can sit by the fire.
Giant Uno night. Yes.
Cards the size of folding tables.
Go
And kind of along with that, I want my own personal home theater, a little music listening room. So there's some things that I want, but I think just the idea of financial freedom. I don't want to go into crazy debt to get this place. I want to acquire it. I want to say the right way. You know what I mean when I say that.
Yeah,
I want to
yeah.
own this place. So maybe that's what it is. Not only live in it, but actually know that I own it. That's what I want.
Cool. Okay, that's a good one. What was that? Your bucket list?
That's it, really. Like because I've I've traveled.
You don't want to high five a monkey.
Well, there's things that I want to do. I want to travel. I want to make a movie that lots of people see, kind of the same as publishing something. And so there's things I want, but I think I'm incredibly realistic as well. So that's maybe I'm scared if I make a list, it'll never happen. I'll just die disappointed. So I'm a pessimist, maybe more than an optimist.
Oh, that's kind of the thing with when I was making mine. I'm like, sure, some of these things very well may not happen, but I kind of just went into it thinking, I don't have to do all this stuff. It's cool to have, like a guideline, just maybe a springboard to get some things started. But like this by no means is like, if I don't check everything off, then my life is going to suck and I won't feel fulfilled at all.
See, that's good, because I think I've talked to my wife about this, how goals feel like a pass-fail system, It's like, nope, or yes.
I failed at everything this year.
And so I think I've got a phobia of goals. I think somewhere in my history, things went wrong as I set goals. So, yeah.
Funny.
Maybe your next bucket list item is
get over my phobia of
goal
goals.
fear.
Okay, so you want to hear my list?
Yes.
Okay, number one by a huge margin is something that's been on my list for a while, and this is actually very specific.
What? I just thought you said buy a huge margarine.
We can play Uno and butter our huge pieces of bread.
Sorry.
It has to be margarine, not butter.
What about I can't believe it's not butter?
That's does it come in
a huge spray bottle?
Anyway, sorry. Continue.
Okay, so in the year 2013,
2 years,
there's going to be what's called a solar maximum, which is it has to do with the sunspot scale or sunspot cycle of the sun, which is every 11 years. But solar maximums can be kind of interesting because they can be more energetic or less energetic at certain times, and NASA so far hasn't been able to kind of what's the word?
Anything? Let's make a list of things NASA can't do.
High five.
I hate NASA.
Okay.
Predict?
Yes, predict.
That's what you're looking for.
Yeah, they haven't been able to predict when we'll have energetic or non-energetic solar maximums. But the last one that was super energetic was 1958, the year my dad was born, actually. And they had such a powerful solar maximum that the auroras were so powerful that you could see them as far south as Mexico.
Wow.
Which is,
cool.
I think, pretty freaking cool.
Is that what the movie Frequency was based on? That event?
Yes.
Oh,
it
yeah,
was.
because that was probably in the 50s.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I didn't realize that. But yeah. So anyways, year 2013, I'm gonna go like early in the winter. Still, I'm gonna guess like around my birthday in January or February, and I want to go to the Northwestern Territories. I'm thinking like Yellowknife or something like that. I'll fly into there, and then I want to take a ski plane or a biplane or whatever they're called, and then go from Yellowknife to just like some like lodge just in the middle of nowhere, and take some gear, just mostly like cameras and stuff, and then just get out in the middle of nowhere. So there's no light pollution, there's no smog or anything like that, and it'll put me as close as I can get, like directly underneath the aurora, and hopefully I'll get the most powerful aurora that I can see within these 11-year solar maximum cycles. And and just get right underneath it, because I've heard.
So I just pictured you with a jetpack shooting straight into it.
That's how Garrett wants to die, consumed by the aurora.
Meanwhile, kicking a bucket on his way up.
But and the reason is, well, because it would be cool to see a powerful aurora, to be able to see some of those more exotic colors that you typically just see like. Green, maybe red, but there's blue and other shades of color too that you can see. But what's more cool, I think, is I heard this rumor.
So intense.
I heard this rumor that if you get close enough to it, and if you're in a place where there's just no sound, that you can actually hear the electrical disturbances of the aurora. Yeah.
What does that sound like?
Like a popping, like
that's
a static.
what I want to find out. Yeah, it sounds like
That's
a didgeridoo.
didgeridoo.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It sounds like Australia. Welcome to the Aurora.
You'll be really disappointed when you find out it's a banjo, actually.
It's going to sound like trumpet thunder.
It's beautiful.
More than I can imagine.
So, yeah, I'm going to do that.
In 2013?
2013. Here I come.
No,
right.
it's cool. I wonder how many people are actually planning on doing something like that. Probably not many. And you could probably get, I mean, you'll have a great camera by then.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
And no, like you could get some amazing pictures that could
yeah.
like very well be published in like National Geographic
Yeah.
or something like that. Like, I think that's a great plan.
Yeah, so that is my number one thing. Number two, I want to visit an active volcano. I want to get right up close to it. I want to be able to poke a stick into the lava. You know what I mean? Like that close.
Okay.
No, I admit that sounds very appealing. Like,
Now,
I
are
think
there
that would be a
any?
lot
I
of
know
fun.
there was one over in Iceland. Was that this year? Last year?
Yeah.
What are there any planned volcanoes? Do they know what's going to happen with it?
Actually, there's quite a few active volcanoes around the world, and there's plenty of options to go. You know,
Doesn't Hawaii have quite a few?
Hawaii does, but they are typically dangerous in a way that you can't get very close.
It's all that
Well, now, no-
Hawaii lava, isn't it?
It's actually the
know which
gases,
one that is.
the poisonous gases.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's not the heat or the lava; it's the gas.
Yeah.
So are there any-
depending on like which way the wind is blowing, it's like, you know.
Now, are all volcanoes like this, or is there one that you can actually get close to? Have people got that close to a volcano before?
I think they're all different, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, I could talk about this a lot, but yeah, you really have to pick the right one, and you have to have a guide who knows what they're doing. And there's about a million ways that this could kill you. So
I can't remember if we walked towards or away from this red flowy stuff. Let's take a vote.
Put your hand in, see what happens.
oh my gosh, yeah, it's not
This
just
is my
lava.
first
I mean,
time.
lava is the very unlikely thing that would actually kill you. There's many other dangers that
I'm sure like ash consumption would probably.
yeah, ash, you know, freaking pyroclastic flow could vaporize you.
I get
you
that
know,
sometimes.
like rocks,
I'll look that up later.
rocks just like, you know, falling down and everything. Like there's, yeah. So it's
Cool.
It's dangerous.
No, that's a good one.
But yeah, I'm determined to do that. I want to do that. Number three, I want to ride in a fighter jet.
Cool.
That's actually a really good one.
You've got a brother-in-law in the military. What does he do?
He is he's done a few different things. He's moved around a little bit, but right now I think he's in the whatever the intelligence bracket is.
In the army? Or?
It's National Guard,
Okay.
but they're kind of
Yeah.
it's
So
Army.
could
Army
he hook
National
you
Guard.
up at all with that, or do you know any hookups?
He might be able to actually. I think he knows a lot of people.
How fast do they go?
I don't have the figures here, but it's fast enough to kill you. Like it's.
And bring it back just a little bit.
Oh my gosh!
Could you slow down?
It is so amazing what those things. I'm fascinated with their just power, and that's I think what I'm attracted to in a fighter jet is the power. I want to know what that feels like. You know, man has made the jet, and you know, with the afterburners just ripping and everything, you could just be going so fast, and then you just yank down on the joystick, and it just basically does this like 90 degree, and you're just you know, and the force of that on your body, like you have to be
You pass
a
out.
specific like kind of body type to be able to do that, you know. And I've done some research on it. Like you actually have to have the kind of brain that can process information fast enough, and you have to have a resilient enough body that won't like kill you or make you pass out. You know what I mean? So what I imagine this will be like for me, you know, I'm sure it won't be.
Now, is
like,
it the G-force or just the raw speed that you want?
I want both. Like I want the speed. I want to know what that feels like. But yeah, the G-force, and I know what's gonna happen. Basically, I know that I'm gonna have to fast for a couple of days, so I'm not like, because I know that it's gonna be a cycle of like 3 different things. Me just being like so excited, I'm like giggling like, and then I'll be like, you know, dry heaving like, and then I'll be like passing out. Like,
I wish I were the pilot for this.
Anytime I watch a video of you know, some celebrity and they do these little G-force pressings. Like they look so pathetic and sad, and like they're on the verge of death when they're hit those, because their face is just like the blood is leaving their face, and their eyes are like bulging out, and they look like the worst pain ever. And you want that?
Yeah,
huh?
I do.
Okay.
I think so.
Speaking of awesome speed and G-force, I forgot to say this one on mine. Ride the Kingda Ka.
I don't know what that is.
It's this roller coaster at Six Flags somewhere back east.
Mm-hmm.
It's the one that it takes you from like 0 to 120 in about 2 seconds, and then it goes up this 400-foot track, and then just straight back down.
So it's like the Superman on the.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, but it's the tallest and fastest. Well, I don't know if it's the fastest anymore, but it is the tallest roller coaster in the world.
So that's got to use electromagnetic propulsion then.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's the only thing that could go that
It
fast.
just looks cool.
No, it's gas powered, steam powered.
Well,
But that's just one of those things. It's like huge G-forces. It's
Yeah.
just like I've heard, not this particular roller coaster, but like I've heard of some roller coasters that just put the G's on you so hard that people actually pass out.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
yeah.
I guarantee that's.
I don't mean to brag, but I go Mach 5 every time I shave in the mornings. So.
I only go Mach 3.
Actually, I flew a plane once. I flew one of those small Katana planes over at the Provo airport.
You flew it?
Uh-huh. I have a friend who's an instructor over there, or was once upon a time. And he let me do some maneuvers, I guess they're called, and it was just kind of like slowing down the plane and then, turning and diving. Basically, I dropped 2,000 feet within a small amount of time, and
he's like, no.
and I think we got up to like 2 Gs, and just 2
Okay.
Gs, and then that's not a lot, but like that was enough to make me feel like, oh gosh,
Is that double gravity? Is that what that means? Okay.
Maths.
I don't know. Just the more G's, the more it hurts. That's all I know.
Awesome. Yeah, I think see, all these things are fun. I guess I don't know what, like I eventually plan on doing something fun, but that's not on my bucket list. I don't know why. Interesting.
Yeah. I've got a couple more, and then I'll kind of wrap it up. But I always wanted to build a custom motorcycle. I've done a lot of like reading about it, and I'm completely obsessed with those like American Chopper TV shows and stuff like that. I freaking I love it. I want to build something.
I have another similar one. Build an electric bike. Pretty close.
I would love to ride an electric motorcycle. I think those are pretty cool.
Yeah, these new ones are looking pretty
Yeah,
hot.
they've got some. They're progressing rapidly.
Yeah.
In their,
I think all electric vehicles are going to be very fascinating in the next 5 years.
So yeah, I've always
Cool.
wanted to
No,
do
that's
that.
cool.
I'm definitely going to do that. And number 2 is, or this isn't 2. Sorry, this is like
The next one.
the next one. This one's crazy. I want to sail around the world solo. And,
you told me that once.
And this is
Go on.
This is hard to do. Like obviously I don't know how to sail yet, but I'm planning on doing that. And what's I think is cool is you think about people doing this all the time, but in reality there's more people that's been.
You need like a better sound effect board
I
because
know.
it's taking you
No,
a
my
few seconds to
reaction
get.
time's a little slow here.
I'm like one
Next time around,
sentence.
I'll be plugged in so I don't go to sleep.
Tell me something. Can you go through the Panama Canal in a sailboat?
Yeah.
Like they put you in the locks and like
It
you know how
raise
they
you
do that. Like, wow, okay. I just thought
No,
that was
no.
like for big cargo ships. I didn't know that.
Has
I think
this
you can.
been done? Because I'm thinking of Amelia Earhart, and I'm sure there's plenty of others who just fail miserably and are never seen again. So has this been done?
Bermuda Triangle, Garrett.
Yeah.
Do you think about
Wait,
that?
Amelia Earhart was in a plane.
I know. I'm just thinking of people who try to do these
Okay.
long adventures.
Okay, yes, it's been done, but this is what I was going to say. There's actually been more people in space who have done than who have completed this. So it kind of puts you
okay.
in that like,
Gotcha.
like that special club of
Gotcha.
I've sailed around the world solo. You
No.
know, and
Have they all gone the same path? Is there like a good way to go?
there's actually there's some technical, like you have to cross the equator, and you have to there's kind of rules if you want to be like
in the club.
like Guinness. But and a lot of like young kids are trying to beat the record for youngest solo sailor.
okay.
That they kind of go for that all the time. But most of the time, it doesn't work out. So yeah, it is kind of an
Usually
elite
doesn't
club.
work.
So is it just straight sailing? Do you do time like you start one place, couple days on land and then
Oh
a
no,
couple days.
Yeah, this is
It's
one
straight up sea.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Like, so you could honestly be on your boat for like 8 months straight.
Is that how long it would take? Is almost a year?
It can't. It depends on your boat and you know, your luck basically. But yeah, you can do it in like just a few short months, or it can be, you know.
So are you completely stocked up with everything you need? Do you
Yeah.
fish?
You've got technology. You've got, you know, just food and junk and whatever. And yeah, you definitely fish and do your laundry and everything. Like, you know,
Garit's
out of the
sailing blog.
But
can't wait to read it.
So yeah, that's part of it. I want to sail around the world, but also I want to just live on a boat. Like, you know, you want to have your house and
Yeah.
live the dream. Well, for me, that is I want to live on a boat.
I want to go to space.
and experience.
We all have our things.
Space, a house, a boat. You know,
Why? Yeah, that's very fascinating. That the middle of the ocean doesn't scare you, but space does.
Yeah. Well, no, the ocean, and that's I actually do have a fear of the ocean. Like if like I've been you know, in the ocean before, and like a piece of seaweed will wrap around my leg and I will lose my mind. Like it's like stuff like that is scary to me. But
Shark!
But
That's seaweed, Garit.
but water in the ocean has this just enormously powerful draw to me, and I'm fascinated with it. I'm drawn to it. I have to have it, and I love the idea of sailing and living on a boat. You know, that's my dream. So I got to do that.
Cool. All right.
Last thing is kind of a catch-all to the rest of them, and I want to travel and photograph you know, lightning and other wonders and mysteries, and there's, you know, that list is basically enormous. I just want to do as much as I can do, and kind of, you know, document it, photograph it, blog it, and that is kind of just what I wanted. If I could, that's what I would want. That's what I would do with the rest of my life, basically. So.
Well, I will gladly read your blog from space.
Awesome. But yeah, I think, I mean, for me, obviously I'm different than Mark, but I think that this is sort of really important to me. Having these, I don't know if they're goals, but you know, like this, you know, 2013, I'm looking forward to that immensely. Like,
Oh, absolutely.
you know, that's what is just kind of driving me and helping me be happy. You know what I mean? Like, just looking forward to
No,
that kind of
I
stuff.
agree, and that's why I like mine. That's why I put all these things on there. It's fun to look forward to. So
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Well, thank you for joining us, Brandon. It's been nice.
it was fun.
Yeah, you brought a good topic to the table, even though I felt like you stole it a little bit.
I'm sorry.
All right. Thanks.